Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. This is Education USA Virtual in Eurasia and Central Asia. And just to remind you that our advising services are fully virtual, but we provide any type of group advising and also individual consultations. We will help you with undergraduate and graduate application guidance, essay review support, and of course, we have many virtual events like today. And I'm very proud to introduce you our speakers today and our special event. This is pre-departure orientation. And our speakers from different universities and different places of the world will share their perspective on the US college experience, and we will discuss what future international students can expect before departure and of course during the first months on campus. Just like to remind you that our webinar today is just like a friendly conversation. So if you have any questions that you would like to discuss with our speakers, do not hesitate and write them in the chat, and we'll be glad to discuss everything that you would like to know. So I'm glad to introduce our speakers today, and I will start with some questions. So maybe we'll just quickly introduce each other. And could you please also briefly share why you decided to study in the United States? So I will start with Arslan, then move to Victoria, and after that to Jahangir. So Arslan, could you please introduce yourself?
Perfect. So hello, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me today. I'm so happy to be here. And I'm Arslan Kalandarov, and I'm international student from Turkmenistan, currently studying in the Kent State University in Kent state of Ohio. And I'm a junior double majoring in international studies and human development and family science. And I'm also a part of the Honors College, which is basically a college for the students with high academic achievements. And outside of classroom, I'm also very involved in different campus jobs, student organizations, leadership positions, and more. So to answer your second question, what inspired me to study in the US is, I would say, before coming here, I was volunteering in a place called Dashogu's American Corner, where I was teaching English to the people through the presentation and different activities. And there I also got a lot of chance to meet with American people. And also it was a place where surrounded with a lot of people who shares the same interest as me. And so a lot of my friends started applying to the US universities, and I said, why not me? Why I cannot go? And that's how I applied to that program by the Education USA called Undergraduate Cohort Advising Program. So on that program, I studied there for 1 year and learned about the US higher education system, scholarships, how to apply there, and standardized tests and more. And what really inspired me to come here was flexibility, I would say, because studying in the US is very flexible. There are a lot of different opportunities. For example, one of the main ones for me was I was kind of undecided between two majors, and double majoring option was a great fit for me. That's why one of the reasons was that. And for other students, maybe if you are undecided, or if you are undecided, you can just come here as an undecided student and more. So that was some reasons why I'm here right now.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for sharing. So we will come back and discuss your majors a bit later. And now I would like to introduce or invite Victoria to introduce herself.
So hi everyone, my name is Victoria and I'm an international student at Marquette University. I'm originally from Ukraine and that's where I am right now. I came back for summer holidays. I just got done with my freshman year, so this fall I'll be starting my sophomore year as a computer science major in Marquette University. So what inspired me to study in the United States? I guess I have always been interested in technology, computers, math in general, and as you may know, the computer science program in the United States is usually really good because they have a lot of innovative technologies and a lot of opportunities for growth in the technical field. So I decided that I might as well try to get into an American university. That was when I joined the competitive college club program from Education USA, and they helped a lot with my application process, with finding scholarships, with everything you can possibly think of. And yeah, that's how I ended up in the United States.
Great. Thank you so much, Victoria. Nice to meet you, and thank you for joining. It seems to me I can remember you because I have been working with Education Youth in Ukraine for some time, so probably we could meet there. Great.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And Jahangir, you're welcome.
Hi everyone. I'm an international student too. I study at Penn State. My major is CS. I'm a full ride student, right? So how I ended up studying in the US, it was like I was ninth grade and I got my first IELTS, right? And then my father asked me, "Do you want to stay here or do you want to try to go to US?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not? Why not like to go to US, right?" And after brutally failing the first year, I realized that it's not for everyone, and then I kinda gave up, kinda, and I started studying my freshman year here at New Uzbekistan University, and then I had my good friend, and it's like our spark came back, and we were like, nah, we're gonna go back to the US, and that's how I ended up in the US. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. So actually, it's so amazing. We have so many different stories and experience is completely different, and this is amazing. So you can share from different perspective, applying as undecided or this like with like exact plans or like even giving up at some point and then coming back again. Wonderful. And actually, so far we have already 18 viewers. So dear students, if you have any questions, this is your time to write them in the chat and we will come back to them a bit later. So, looking back, today we actually have a session of recall, like recall your memories. What was the biggest challenge you faced before leaving the US and how did you overcome it? So, like, if you like remember yourself a couple of years ago, like you are just like a student who is going to travel to US and start like a new period of your life there. So, what was like the most challenging for you at that time? And I come back to Arslan.
Yep. Actually, that's a really great question because, like, when you apply to the U.S. universities, like, university system is very different than my country's. So I needed to learn everything from the beginning. But one of the biggest challenge I would say was believing in myself because when I applied here, I was only 18 years old and I am a first generation student and there's no one from my family or from my relative who study in the US. So that's why I was like often questioning myself, am I good enough to go there? Will I succeed and etc. And but instead of like letting those doubts to stop me, I decided to work on myself and I did a really great research on like US universities, scholarships, and I was trying to find out different ways. And another thing that I did was I was very getting involved with a lot of different organizations. And for example, I did a volunteering in different places, such as like American Corner, as I mentioned, or special orphanage for children with tuberculosis illnesses. And I also did volunteering with a for Red Crescent Society, UNICEF, UNDP, and etc. So like all of my experiences helped me to succeed. And another thing that I did a really great research on the university because like US university, there are a lot of US universities and they are very different from each other. For example, as I remember, there are more than 4,000 community colleges and universities, and you need to do a great research on them. So that's how I did. I applied around like 20 universities, and I got into 13 of them with a good scholarships, and I think it's well paid off now.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing this experience. Victoria, how about you? How was your experience? Like any challenges like as a student who is traveling to US?
I would say, okay, if we don't speak about like the admission process and all that, because everyone knows that like it's hard. I would say one of the most challenging things was getting familiar with the thought that I will not be spending the next year at home and that I will not have a chance to see my family or my friends as often, and that it's like only the next summer when I will get a chance to see them again, to hug everyone again, and like to come back home. Also, it was really hard for me to pack for some reason because, as you know, like you only get like two suitcases and a backpack, and how do you pack your whole life in a suitcase, you know? So that was really hard, and it was really hard to leave some things behind because like I can be emotionally attached to a certain like thing, but I cannot take it with me because it's like either it's too big or it's useless, or like, you know what I'm saying? So leaving my home and leaving all the stuff behind, yeah, saying bye to everyone was really hard.
Yeah, such kind of homesickness. I can imagine like this feeling. Yeah, it's really hard, especially like at such a young age. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, this is like really helpful. Jahan here, how about you? What was like
Yeah,
origin for you?
I completely agree with Victoria. In my case, as I was a freshman in my own university at Uzbekistan University, I worked in the IT department there at the time. And after I won the full ride scholarship, there was some documentation to do, right? And like I had braces on. I had so much stuff to do. So everything just came to an end just a week, not even a week. It's like 2 days before I flew. So managing everything, the documentations, it was really hard. The best advice would be just to have daily tasks or maybe weekly, so you won't cram on the last day. And absolutely, just like Victoria, it was hard to realize that I'm not gonna see any of my parents, friends, right, close relatives for the next year. But yeah, mainly the main difficulties for me were the documents, and I successfully finished them all. But yeah,
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, I think like this is something that unites all the students who are leaving their home countries, yeah, for such a long period of time, of course. And of course, like this event today that we're organizing, like pre-departure orientation, this is for students, like just like to share expectations, what they might expect when they are going to study in the United States soon. Okay, so coming back to your first week on campus, and could you please share what was it like? How was it like? What it was like really like? And was there anything that surprised you maybe, or you wish you had known before arriving? So Arslan, how about you?
Yeah. Alrighty. So my first week was very like exciting and unforgettable because still can remember when I landed to the airport in New York, and when I see that like a US flag, I was very proud of myself because like it was dream come true. And on my first week, I did a bit research before coming here, so on what the things that I need to do. And so the first things that I did was like preparing all of my documentations, for example, submitting my transcript and getting my student card and etc. And luckily, I was not the first student at the Kent State University. We had some other students from my country too, and they really helped me a lot to adapt to the campus life and etc. And I was also like, as I'm like third people from my country, I was always trying to like represent my country to the other people by joining to the parades and like organizing cultural events and etc. So that was a great time. And what really surprised me was how the professors and advisors are very supportive. So if I was confused in a little thing, they are like always ready to help, and they have a lot of like resources that they can share with us. For example, if you are having difficulties with your classes, professors have their like office hours that you can go. And I think that's a key point on your achievement probably, because if you go there, you and your professor will get to know each other, and they can help you with your classes if you are having difficulties.
Okay, this is helpful. So, like, actually, you're not alone there. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
so you have someone
exactly.
who is ready to help you. This is great, wonderful. Victoria, how was your first week at campus?
I remember when I landed in Milwaukee, so that's where my university is located, and I came to the dorm that I was supposed to stay in for a few days because of the international student orientation, and I see the bed and I realized that I don't have a pillow. It was really like I was really surprised because it took me 3 days to get to the United States because it's really hard to get there from Ukraine. And when I come in and I realized that I don't even have something comfortable to sleep on, I was like shocked a little bit. So I had to sleep on my neck pillow, I remember. And the first thing that I did the next day after I was finished with all the university tasks was getting myself a pillow and a blanket. Also, I remember that I thought that it would be hard to make friends because everyone would be so reserved and close to themselves, but actually it's the opposite because the first students that you meet in your university are international because as I know most universities do a separate orientation for students from other countries, and all of them come to the States alone, so everyone is looking for a friend, and you just have to talk to people. That's all it takes to make a friend. And I think that's the advice that I would give everyone. First of all, bring a pillow and find a friend. It will make
Wonderful.
everything
Yeah,
easier.
that's great. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, like surprising. Okay, so Jahangir, how about your first week?
Yeah. So me as a good student, as a punctual student, I arrived to the US 2 days before my dorm even opened. This was a big mistake. Even if you come one day late, it's okay. Just don't come too early, right? So I came 2 days earlier. I was staying in the hotel. I came yeah, I came on the spring semester. It was super snowy, right? So I get into my hotel. I slept 3 hours for some reason. I supposed to have a jet lag, but I didn't, right? And then I go out to have a breakfast. I see there is this guy with a mustache and everything, and I was like, is he Mexican or something? And I go in and I talk to him, right? And he's a Saudi guy, right? And his name is Michal, really great guy. And I started talking to him in the hotel, right? So even still, we're really good friends. So just like Victoria said, just go and talk to people because it's like the first people you meet, it's like they're your best friends. You just gotta be with them, right? And I met two of my like class international fellow classmates, maybe, yeah, in the hotel. The rest of them I met in the orientation, and from the orientation, we're still together. Like any problem I have, any problem they have, I talk to them. We solve it together, right? And yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, that's my first week.
That's great, wonderful. Thank you so much. I think it's also nice, always to come back to these memories. And this is great that you still communicate with these people with whom you just met on your first days in the United States. So we all know that educational system in United States is different, and those of you who have studied. So Jahan here, for example, you had experience of studying in the university of your country, Victoria and Arslan, you maybe also know how it's different. So but at what extent it's actually was difficult for you, and how did you adjust to this academic environment in the United States? Because it's different, still it's different, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I can go first. So as you said, the education was United States education system is very different than my country's high school and etc. But fortunately, I was able to study in Education USA program, as I mentioned, and that program gave me an overview of how the US classes and academics will look like. So I think studying on that program would helped me a lot to at least know get the general knowledge of how it will gonna look like. And other than that, I was my main goal was to become more active on campus and make a lot of new friends, join to different organizations and etc. And that's how I became easily adapt to the campus life, because otherwise if you don't step outside of comfort zone, it's very difficult to get to adapt to the like campus life and the new system, because you might be feel homesick, but if you make a lot of friends, meet new people, and they like you will overcome this kind of things very easily.
Great, thank you so much. Victoria, how about you?
So I don't actually have like experience with the Ukrainian university education system, so I can't like compare it properly. But the thing that everyone is surprised about, like when I tell people about the education system in the United States, everyone is always surprised that we can choose our own classes. So how it works, like you basically build your own schedule. So there are some classes you are required to take for your major, but they usually have different professors that you can choose from, different time slots that you can choose from. So everything is really like tailored to you. So if you're lucky enough and if the classes don't get full, you might be able to get your dream schedule. So personally, the previous semester I used to wake up at 10 a.m. and to get to my earliest 11 a.m. class, and that was awesome. While I heard stories of my Ukrainian friends whose earliest class was at like 7:30 in the morning, and they're like, "How can you choose your time? You know, like what?" So yeah, that's I guess the U.S. offers more flexibility than other universities in other countries. So yeah, that's what I would say is different. And you can
Great.
also choose classes like you don't have to only study your major. You can like I know a girl who's I think she's like political science major, but she studied tap dancing, she did ballet as like a college class, like she got credit for it. So it gives you a lot of like space for imagination, you know?
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, so like you can find something for yourself definitely there. Thank you. And Jahangir, how about you?
Yeah, as I was taking the academics really seriously, right? So I was trying and I am 4.0 student, and for me to fit in, I thought it's gonna be similar to my own university in Uzbekistan, right? Because my New Uzbekistan University is the best university in Uzbekistan, and there it's like I think they have the same program as the Technical University of Munich, and there we had two exams, one midterm and one final. The midterm is on the 8th week, and the final is on 16th week. So basically, what we used to do is that first 5 weeks we used to like go to classes, take notes, and like basically we're free, right? And for the 3 weeks before the midterm, we start to prepare, and then there is the midterm, and then we're free again, right? So in that system, we're kind of free, and the stress that accumulated during the preparation for the exam was then spent during the 5 weeks that we used to just go to university, right? But in the US, the exams, in my case, they're like every 3 weeks. It's like for one class, you have like 4 or 5 exams. It's like uh, close to the end of the semester, I was getting burned out like every 2 weeks. So I used to go out somewhere. I used to travel to another states. I used to travel to another countries and stuff just to get the just to get back in track, right? And what I was also trying to do is that in the I want to say that Victoria is lucky. I had ATM class for physics. Yeah, it's like two hour class. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I used to get up at 7:30 just to go to my physics class, 2 hours. But yeah, I was trying to get A for all classes, so I can be a TA, so I can have more in-depth knowledge in all of the subjects. But yeah, but just the advice, not to waste your first week because the university doesn't care about like you starting or are you prepared, right? So they just start, you have homework assignments, you have all of the assignments ready even in your first week. So just come in ready and yeah, study.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. And again, just like to underline this, like your experience is completely different, and this is great.
Yeah.
So, and wonderful that we came to this question about majors. So, how did you decide to choose this program? What like did you have any passion before, or like it was like something unexpected that like your choice became like this? So, Arslan, how about you?
Yep. So like before coming to the US, I've been always passionate about like global issues, education, leadership, and working with different countries. And I also had an experience like joining to a lot of like UNICEF, United Nations, and for example, climate action and some different organizations trainings. And I did a lot of volunteering. And I saw that because of that, as I want to do like a global thing in the future, I saw choosing an international studies major would be best fit for me. And when I come here to the US on my first semester, I discovered that my second major, which is human development and family science. And so that major is a really great major because it's very broad and you can do a lot of different things with that major. And I thought if I combine those two majors, it would be a very best fit for my like future career goals. And yeah, that's how I ended up ending my HFS major. And I like in the future, I want to work in an international organization or like an international department of the university. So like my international studies major would help me a lot with a global perspective, while the HFS major would help me on like working with people and like different communities.
Oh, that's great. Wonderful. So, look, you had some experience already, like before choosing your major. That's
Mhm.
great. Victoria, how about you?
So I have always been passionate about like technology, math, computers. So I kind of always knew that I would study computer science. But when I came to the United States, so in my university, in particular, the first your first 2 years, I think, you're still considered undecided. So you can explore different majors, you can take different classes. So and if you were leaning towards one major at first, but then you take the classes and realize that like no, that's not what I want to do. You can always switch, and so like you're not tied to the major yet. But when I came there and I started taking the classes that were required for computer science, I realized that like yeah, that's interesting for me. That's what I want to do in life, and like that's what I want to continue studying. But just so you know, like I have a few friends. One of them used to be a biology major, but then he realized that he doesn't actually like biology, and he switched to theater. And then he realized that theater is not enough, and now he's double majoring in theater and public relations. So like you can do major switch ups, and it's fine. So you don't have to like get married to your major the first day you are admitted to the university. You can always change, and I think that's really cool.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much. And Jahangir, how about you?
Yeah. So, because I studied CS, I studied software engineering in my own university in Uzbekistan, right? And my scholarship required me to choose a track. So I chose CS as my track because it's the closest thing to my major, to my major that was in my hometown university. Uh, and then that's how I ended up studying CS. Actually, let me tell you a story. I started to be interested in the CS in my seventh grade. How did it happen? Is that I was really bad at coding. It's like in seventh grade we had coding classes. I was really, really bad. I was failing the class. And I was like, I asked my teacher for advice and he was like, figure it out yourself. I'm like, okay. I went to YouTube and it's like, uh, learn Python in 1 hour. I was like, that's what I want. I went to the class. I look, it's like really easy. And I was like, that's what I'm going to do for life, right? And then in the university, I see the classes, not so easy, but you know what? I can do it. And also I'm minoring in math because I think for me math is kind of easy, and I thought why not to add it as a minor. to my major. Yeah, that's my experience how I chose my major.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. No, like again, it's like completely different, and this is great. So before we'll actually have some questions in the chat, so you might see them already. But before we move and discuss like these questions and also come back to your campus life, I would like to ask you such kind of life questions, and they're connected with those steps like for students like bank accounts, any like credit cards, some like financial things like this. So like as a student who is coming to United States and you don't know anything about this, like how did you get this information? How did you start like all these steps? Like did you have someone behind you who helped you, maybe like someone from university, or like how actually this process looked like?
All right. Yes. So for me, it was like who really inspired me to study in the US. I had a friend, and she got into like one of the prestigious university in the United States, and she really inspired me. And she talked about me the program by the Education USA, which is the UCA program that I mentioned. And so I actually applied to that program like two times, because on my first time when I applied, I didn't get into it because there were like some things that I needed to work on myself, and so I didn't give up, and I really worked hard on myself. And on my second try, I got into that program. So basically, this program was preparing high school students for the U.S. universities for 1 year, and it was free. There was an advisor, and there was like different people who were teaching in different fields, and that's how I actually learned about studying in the US, because I before I didn't know anything about it. My dream was like only studying in the US, but I didn't know how to apply and other things. But like that program really helped me a lot, and throughout that program, like before graduating that program, I applied to like US universities, and I also applied to like scholarships, and yep, so that's how I learned.
Yeah, that's great. So Victoria, how about you?
I remember when I came into the first day of the international orientation, they gave each and every one of us like a folder with the file, and it like everything was written down. So the nearest bank that we could go to, the nearest Walmart, the nearest TJ Maxx, where to get groceries, how to make like the bus pass, how to what bus to take to get to Target, like everything. Like it basically said everything. Um, Speaking of the bank, it was actually pretty easy. So my university has like it's like one of the U.S. banks has a branch in Marquette University, I would say. So I just went in and I was like, I want a debit card. What do I do? What documentation do we need? And like they set it up in around like 30 minutes. Then so yeah, every I think every college should have an international advisor. So if anything, just reach out, just write an email, call, text through WhatsApp, whatever, and they will probably tell you where to go, what to do, and like there's always someone who will help you.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Jahangir, like how was your experience with
Yeah,
that?
I guess my experience is also quite different from everyone else again, right? So in the first day of the orientation, they took us to Walmart for us to make groceries. We came back, then they made us like the debit cards. After the debit cards, for us the buses are free. So they just showed us the roads, what bus takes us to what Walmart, how can we get to this place, that place, everything we need. They took us the first time. For the next times, they just showed us how to get there by ourselves. But thanks to my friends, thanks to my Saudi friends, like my friend Farsi, he has a car. So basically, every time we needed to go somewhere, I was like, "Yo, Farsi, can you please take me there?" And I was like, he was like, "Yeah, of course, bro. Why not?" And it's like he takes me everywhere. I'm really glad because the first day, just like Victoria, I didn't have a pillow. and I was like, I'm not gonna sleep one night with nothing under my head. And I was like, I'm gonna go to Walmart. It was like Saturday, and at that day the buses were less frequent. So as I went to the Walmart, I get my pillow and I wait 2 hours in the bus station. It was raining so much. I had a waterproof coat, but after that rain, it wasn't waterproof. So yeah, it was really bad. It's like a trauma. It was like 9 p.m. at night. It's like people smoking there, some people smoking there. And I was like, I'm not gonna go out again on the bus by myself to Walmart. I was like, I'm gonna make friends. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing this experience. And let's come back to our questions from the chat, just like to don't miss anyone. And I think the first question is for Arslan. Yeah, as a country mate with Arslan, I would like to ask him which exams did he take in order to get into high prestigious university.
Alrighty. So like before I answer the questions, I would like to add on something on the previous question. So I also had like a fun experience where I just realized it. So like at our university, like bank system is, so like if you are an international student or like a freshman student, we have a bank at our student center and they open a bank account for you. And about like a grocery stores, that was really challenging for me because if you don't have a car and if you don't know anyone who has a car, it's very difficult. That's why on my first time, I needed to go to like I needed to walk to Walmart by like looking at the map because like no one showed us. So that was kind of challenging. And to answer this question, so I took Duolingo test as my English proficiency test, and because like when I applied to U.S. universities, like SAT or ACT was not required, and I like chose universities like which doesn't require those kind of tests on. That's why I chose universities which requires only English proficiency. And when I took the Duolingo, like Duolingo taking experience was because a bit difficult because it's kind of strict. So if you make a bit like small movement, it will just log out. And that's why I tried to take that test like multiple times, 2 to 3 times, I would say. And yeah, so I got a good amount of result and I applied to the universities which which are requiring less than that results, and I got into certain of them with that result.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. Maybe Victoria and Jahangir, you will also share like what exams did you take?
Yeah, I also took the Duolingo English test, and then I decided to take IELTS as well, because I don't actually know why. I think Duolingo can be enough, but I just really wanted to have the IELTS certificate. So, and then I also decided to take SAT because I prepared for them, and in certain universities, like your score gives you a higher chance of admission. But I wasn't really satisfied with my scores, so I didn't send them to all of the universities, but I sent it to Marquette, to the one where I'm studying, and yeah, I got in. So I don't regret taking it, but um, some of the universities don't require you to take the SAT, and if you don't feel like you're ready or if you are not really happy with your score, just don't show it. So it's fine.
But do you think it was like an advantage that you actually sent these scores? Or like
I think so. Yeah, for my university, yeah, it was a good score. But if you like, you should do some research and see what's like if you're applying to a certain university, what score is considered good for that specific university, and if it's a lot higher than yours, then I wouldn't send it. But if it's like lower and your score looks decent, yeah, I would submit it. So
yeah, that's great. Thank you. And Jahangir, how about you?
Yeah, in my case, I took two IELTS exams, one in the ninth grade, one in the 11th. I took SAT on my 10th grade. And I actually want to say something opposite to Victoria, what Victoria said, because I think test optional or not needing to submit the SAT thing was at the COVID years and like 2 years or 3 years after the COVID. But I think admissions this year or the previous year they were requiring SAT like the top colleges. And I think if you applied your ACT score to uh, less of a good ranking colleges, it would be a good plus, good advantage. But also, I want to agree with what Victoria said. But if your score is quite lower than their average, then you might not add your SAT because it actually may downplay your application. But yeah, I got
Yeah.
them all.
That's great. That's great. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing so much. So we have a next question. And since the Kent State Global Scholarship is a partial award based on GPA, what are the best ways to find additional funding or stack extra scholarships once you're on campus? So I think we can talk also like about general experience like that Arslan, Victoria, and you, Jahangir, you had.
Mhm. Yeah, so about the Kent State University, like Kent State University has a global scholarship, and if you are applying to the honors college as well, you can also get an honors scholarship as well. That's what I got. I got both of them, and how I covered my tuitions was I also applied to the like a scholarship by the American consuls, and I got that one as well. But let's say you got only the global scholarship. So when you come here, there are a lot of ways to get different scholarships. For example, like different departments have their departmental scholarships. For example, let's say you are in a communication college, you can apply to the communication college scholarships and you can get them in your like sophomore or junior or senior years too. And another thing at Kent State University is like doing a research and participating in a thesis thing. So for example, currently I'm not taking any classes, but I am participating in a summer research program, which is related to my major. So by doing that research, I am gaining a lot of like knowledge about my major, but at the same time, it's like supporting me financially too. And another opportunity I would say is honors thesis. So let's say at my university, there's a thing called honors thesis where you do it on your junior or senior year. So let's say if you didn't get into the honors college, but you can still apply to the honors thesis in your third year and get a scholarship.
Yeah, that's great. Did you get like full funding or like you also like had the stock of scholarships?
Yes, so mine is so I'm living off campus in an apartment, and my like all the scholarships that I got covers all of my tuition.
But like there's several, yeah, like different
Yeah,
scholarships.
yeah, I got it from different places.
Yeah, from different resources. Yeah, this is great. Thank you so much. Victoria, how was your experience of funding?
Marquette University has the Global Scholars Award. So you first of all you get admitted to the university, and then as an international student you can apply separately to get this award, and it covers your tuition and room and board. So it's basically a full ride. You only have to pay like lab fees, which is like $30 a semester per class, I would say, and health insurance. So yeah, how I got the scholarship, I just applied. Then so you write an essay, and then you get an interview, and after that you get like your decision whether you got it or not. And then what else? What else? What else? Then I got a scholarship from Education USA actually, which helped me like get adjusted in the United States. So like to like get some groceries, get school stuff like notebooks and stuff like this. Um, and also, the universities sometimes send out like newsletters, I would say, which have like additional scholarship opportunities available for like $1,000, $500, like $2,000. So which you can apply to your tuition, but you can also like apply to housing, to your living expenses, like to anything like that. So yeah, and I actually just got a decision about one of those scholarships, so I received some award for a few $1,000s, I think. So I'm just waiting for it to go through. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is great that you can still apply on site already, like you are
Yeah.
already studying, yeah, and still have some opportunities to get some funding. Yeah, that's great. Jahangir, how was your experience with funding?
Yeah, in my case, I won full ride scholarship, so everything, literally everything we can think about is covered. It's actually a governmental scholarship from Uzbekistan. It's called Elyor Tumide. Yeah, so it's like visa fees, flight, like whatever, living expenses, insurance, tuition. It's like you you can't even spend anything from your own pocket because it's like too like a really good excessive amount of money that it's yeah. I'm really grateful. Thank you, government. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Wonderful. Thank you so much. So we have one more question about like again funding, but I think we actually covered yeah, like other specific departments, scholarships or external grants. I think it depends on the country and like the cases are completely different. So like you can apply to some grants and scholarship in your country, like governmental, as Japan here mentioned, or you can just like stack together different scholarships, like before you start your studying or even after, like when you're already in the United States. And since like we don't have much time left, so I would like to move and discuss like the last question from the chat. Did you use any agency or advisor to apply, or did you do it all yourself? What do you recommend? Let's
All
start.
right. Yes, so basically what I did, as I mentioned, I was a program of the Education USA program, and there I had my advisors, and they helped me uh, just to like understand how the application process works, how to apply to the scholarship plan, etc. And what I would recommend is basically a lot of things are on depends on you. So you should do a great research on the universities that are going to, because like here in the United States, there are more than 4,000 universities, and they are very different from each other. That's why you should do a research based on the scholarship place or like other important things for you, like for example for your major. And yeah, so what I would recommend is if your country has like a advising center or like Education USA advising centers, you can just go and have a consultation with them. They would be like more than happy to help you. That's what I did, but also like everything depends on you. So you should also do a great research. And like what I also did was I was like watching YouTube videos and the life of like different like current students at that time, and they were sharing like some great tips with us, and that's how I learned everything.
Yeah, that's nice. Great. Thank you so much. Victoria, how was like your experience?
So I actually applied for the competitive college club program from Education USA, and they basically guide you through the entire application process, and then after you get admitted to the university, they help you with your visa, with your flight, like with everything basically. And it was really nice to have a person to reach out to. Um, because like during your application process you always have like different little questions that you didn't know would come up, you know what I'm saying? So because the school in Ukraine is different from the school in the United States, so I had to like find how to translate a certain term into English, or like what that term would mean in like Ukrainian. So it was really hard to find that correlation, but I was really glad that I had an advisor that was really experienced and that went through all of it with like previous cohorts of students. So yeah, I would really recommend, if you can find an advisor or if you know a program, to apply, because doing it by yourself is of course possible, but it's really hard, and it's a lot easier when there is someone you can email, you can text, you can call and like ask anything. So
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your experience. Jahangir, how was your experience with application?
Yep. I did everything by myself. Basically, I didn't knew that these programs exist. education in USA, advisors. So I did everything by myself. Yeah, yeah, it just like yeah, it took a while. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of stress and stuff. But one thing that is really great is that after you win the was bit like government scholarship, uh, like the network of students that are already studying in the US or will be studying in the US opens, meaning it's like 3,000 students. It's like you can talk to them, you can ask them questions, but basically, I had just like I said, bureaucracy, right? I had daily tasks every day to complete, only for the documents, and I was following my plan, and everything turned out to be great. And if I had any small questions, I used to write to students who are already in the US, so it's like saves a lot of time instead of going and searching something for hours in the Google or any web browser. You can just go and talk to a person who's been through it. So this was a really good advantage for me, the network of students, but most of it I did by myself.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. So, actually, it was wonderful meeting. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that I managed it, and it was my pleasure to work with you, to talk to you, and hear about your experience. And like to conclude our meeting today, what like one piece of advice could you give to students who will be soon boarding their flight to US? Like what should they do, like maybe should they be nervous about something, or like should they be calm like instead, or something like that? What would you recommend to them?
All right. So, what I would recommend is I see it in most of the students, they do like a one common mistake, which is not stepping out of their comfort zone. I think like try everything possible because like U.S. universities with a full of different resources and opportunities. So you should try everything, and it will really help you a lot to like improve yourself, gain a lot of skills, and just live the best times of your college life, I would say. And another thing I would recommend is before coming here, spend the quality of time with your family and friends and with your close people, because you never know if you will be able to see them in like during your university time. That's why. And also like learn a lot about your culture and traditions, because as you are an international student, you will be representing your country in a US university, so it's better to know everything before coming here.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much, Ruslan. Victoria?
I would say once you land and once you see people around yourself, just talk to everyone. Try to make a friend, because you are alone in a foreign country, in a different continent. Like, you come there all by yourself. You leave your family behind, you leave your friends behind. Try to make a friend, because everyone is in the same situation. Everyone comes there and searches for community. So if you find one single person that you can stick by and that you can like do stuff together with, just it will make everything so much easier. Two of my best friends are the people that I've met at my international student orientation. Some of them are my roommates. The other ones I've met during the school year. So it's so much easier when you are not alone and when you have people around you. So just try to find your person.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And Jahangir, what would you
Yeah,
advise?
I completely agree with everyone, especially Arslan about the culture, because usually in the universities you have cultural days, right? So there you're supposed to represent your country well. And for example, if someone new who didn't heard about your country asks you something, yeah, it's like I think you're supposed to answer them correctly, right? To represent your country well. And then I think socially, like Arslan and Victoria answered really good, but I want to say about academically. So if you reach out to professors, it's really easy. It's really easy if you get an A from the subject to be a TA. For example, right now I'm a physics TA and computer science TA, and I'm doing math research on graph theory. Penn State is really good for undergraduate research because there's not a lot of PhD students and master students, so they do give a lot of focus to undergraduate students. So just by reaching out to your own professor, if he doesn't have a research, ask your professor to reach out to another professor. So you will find it anyway. You just gotta try. So me as a freshman, I've finished like 2 sessions of physics year already. I have everything planned out for the next year too, and for the summer. So I think you just gotta go and ask and try it out, and everything will work out.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Arslan, Victoria, and Jahangir, for sharing your experience. I'm sure it will be helpful for our students. And of course, we'll be glad to invite you to our future events. So if, like, by chance you are interested, we are always welcome to talk about your experience in more details. Thanks everyone thanks to our viewers, of course, for joining us today, and see you during our next events.